because there's Travis Scott, the artist. There is
After
Live
All, the
Nation,
festival.
and After All, the festival. And that's why I asked who owns the festival.
Yes.
Right. So from an artist perspective, well, it's kind of a conflict of interest, him owning it and him being the artist as well. But I think from the artist perspective, him performing and there being a right, I don't think as an artist that he's culpable, but I think about him as the business owner of this entity that has put this festival together, has a history of cultivating a culture of mosh pits, which has resulted many times in violence. Somebody was paralyzed. I mean, we won't even know the numbers of people that have been hurt in the past from, what he's done. We can't really know. Just how we found out this girl died, the 9th person died how many days later. Back in the day, if the media wasn't covering it, we wouldn't have known who died, right?
That's not entirely true. We did, I know there was a Pearl Jam concert from a few years ago that I think people...
Someone died?
Yeah, few people died. So,
what?
Yeah, it's not, I want to be clear, it's not like new for people to die at festivals, at concerts, especially...
Right, but no, hold on though. Travis Scott's festival, or is this another one?
No, it's another artist. No.
Okay, but let me stick with Travis Scott here. I'm sticking with Travis Scott here because every artist should be there. Though each case should be looked at individually, right? It's not something that we just lump them all together. Of course not. So with this Travis Scott situation, in terms of him as a business owner, he's culpable. And I read this New York Times article, not New York Times, sorry, LA Times article, where they were talking about how he's likely going to go to jail. Well, not likely, but people are debating whether he will go to jail simply because in the penal codes in Texas, he is liable for sort of inciting violence, and it can actually be charged as manslaughter. Even because if you recklessly encourage these type of things, because he was reckless, and if they can prove that he was reckless, right, and they're going to be looking at his history. So all the past events, they're going to be using that and evaluating it. Right. And that will all go into their decision as to whether he deserves time in jail. Right. And I think on one side, they're the families that have lost their children, and it's so easy for people. I know a lot of his fans, they don't want to see a black man in jail, or people just don't want to see a black man in jail. We don't want to see someone that's very successful in society in jail. But thinking about the families that have lost I watched the press conference with the mother who lost her daughter. Right, university senior,
just about to graduate.
Imagine paying all those student loans and all of that. She's going to. So I understand why his fans, because they have this attachment to him and Kylie Jenner and his family. But think about the other families that have lost their family, even children dying.
Some people, one of the people who died was as young as 16. So it was, I think 16 to 27 was the age range.
So legally, he might not.
Young people.
Right. So legally, it might not be a situation where he could get by legally, but ethically, in my view, he has cultivated and he's perpetuated this standard for years. Not this is 5+ years he's been doing this. Right. People have been injured in the past. He didn't learn from his lesson, and he let it go on. Now, as a musician, that's one thing. But as a business owner, for you to do that, people have gone to jail for less. People have gone to jail for speeding tickets, holding marijuana, which is legal now, but it wasn't legal then. People have been...
Legal in some states.
In some states. Okay, there we go. But sent to jail, thrown away the key for silly little things. And this guy is culpable for the deaths of these people from a business standpoint, not from him as an artist.
Right.
As a business owner,
I guess, and not that I'm not playing advocate for
jail.
Travis Scott, but I'm saying ultimately we have to put some responsibility on people and how they behave.
Oh, 100%.
So even if he's telling you to do X, Y, or Z, it's really up to you to decide whether or not you do that, right? And so that's the only reason why I'm like, can we actually how culpable is he at the end of the day?
Well, if you can be put in jail for inciting a riot, or Donald Trump being in trouble for it. He didn't tell those people to go there. He didn't tell them. But he did, but he didn't though. He didn't, at the end of the day. But if you can be if inciting a riot is a thing, Scott has inspired. He has lyrics that says it's not a mosh pit if there are no injuries. He has encouraged this culture of violence
fans to actually try to get into his concerts without tickets. Right?
Okay, that's another thing because you saw them rushing the stage. How many people were just not even supposed to be there that didn't have tickets?
And so here's another thing so one of my friends was actually volunteering at the festival.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I think she was maybe working on the ticket stands. And so she's actually in one of the videos that went viral. And so she's like, yeah, listen, that there was, all the right protocol in place. These kids were just
too many kids.
Unruly. So basically, like, they were all there, and they forced one, like, the fences, metal fences down, and just broke in.
Protocol in her department of ticketing. No protocol in security. Like those videos that I know you posted it on No Hips or podcast about, the security guard that was, So this is his business. I'm not talking about Travis, the artist. Travis, the business owner.
Right. Let's so people know what we're talking about. So one of the security guards at the festival said that he was hired on the spot.
This is your camera, you know that?
Oh,
no, go on.
So one of the security guards was said that he was hired on the spot and was not asked for ID, and they were given no training at all. So basically, just picking random people and basically probably gone for cheap because of
and because they're trying to cut costs. That's another thing they're going to look at in court. They're trying to cut costs, obviously.
The security officer says he was not prepared for what happened at the concert, and he says all of the other security officers who were also hired were also not prepared. He basically says him and his family just showed up to this concert and were given security vests and basically given the job on the spot.
So you show up, they don't ask for your ID, they don't ask for any certification, and they just hand you the uniform?
And then you go to a phone number.
Whoever he appointed to be in charge of this festival, between Live Aid and Travis Scott, he's culpable, is part of his business.
Right.
Whoever they appointed was trying to cut costs. Yeah. And if they had proper protocol, because this is my thing, right? That Travis Scott cultivates these mosh pits. Right. That's number one. Number two, in the past, people have gone injured, people have gone paralyzed. That's number three. So you're moving into this festival, you should know that you should have the best security, the best standard of security to avoid this from happening. But you didn't put those things in place.
Now, to be fair, though, they did have police presence.
And the police is culpable too. Did you see the police officer? The police officer that was like filming. But I'm sure that happens all the time. It happens more than you can imagine, right?
That's people want to listen, they're human beings at the end of the day.
Right.
Everyone wants to see a show. And it's a great, I'm sure police officers probably want to work these time shows.
Right, exactly.
It's a free concert, right? And that's why people, I'm pretty sure that's probably why my friend volunteered. It's a great way to just go for free. Like, supposed to pay $400 for the ticket, right? And so that's basically, the humans. They had police officers on horseback, though, and they actually, sent some of those kids back who broke into the festival. When those kids, in the video that shows them, tearing the fence down, some of them were sent back by police officers on horsebacks. Okay. So, I think to an extent, they did what they needed to do. I don't think.
Well, I hear what you're saying, but they didn't. To me, the things I listed. Travis Scott does this as an artist, so you put the right protocols. I don't care if you need to have 500 police officers. 500 police officers to save one life. See what I'm saying? So that's.
It's a lot, but okay.
Look, at least we wouldn't have heard that people were dead.
Right.
For 50,000 people? 50,000 people?
Yeah, 50,000 people. I think
is 500 a lot for 50,000 people? It's not a stadium.
Right.
It's what? It's the national park or some. Right. It's not a stadium. So I don't think 500 is that many.